This time I might just disappear. This time I might just disappear. This time I might just disappear. This time I might just disappear.
Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Skreezilla here and I hope you're all well. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good day, or good whatever it is to you. Yes, it's that time of day again. Oh, crap, wrong tab. There we go. Alright, I'm being crap this morning. Not doing too well. I need more coffee. So yes, Naval Beta is definitely open. Everything is going, everything is set to go, and I've just got to quickly post up on a thingamajiggy that I am live. There we go. Right, there we go. Alrighty, so how is everybody today? I hope you're all well. I hope everything is going well. I hope you've had a nice morning and all of that stuff. And stream is looking healthy at the moment, so yay, that's some good news. Last night it was having troubles working. So we get a reward this morning. We get a silver reward. The big trophy. Let's see what magnificent item we're going to win here. Oh, actually I'm not too bad. A few boosters, that's probably actually needed. Okay, now apparently we should have been gifted some research points. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Gaijin. So yeah, they said they had fixed the problem and gifted the research points that you'd made into the actual game. So yeah, that doesn't look like it's happened, does it? No, it definitely doesn't look like it's happened. So that's good. I'm glad about that. Anyway, let's start our lovely grind of boats. So, if you've never seen War Thunder Naval Forces before, it's a very different gameplay. These low-tier small boats are very much just like driving around in a AAA truck. You're really struggling for them. Hello, America. What? UFO of A. Hopefully that's America, or it's in space. One or the other. I don't know which. Okay. We could be from space, or you could be from America. Either way, you know, both are alien to me. So yeah, it's a very different gameplay style. It's very much like driving around a AAA truck. UFO of A sounds better though. I mean, it sounds more interesting. And I'm enjoying coffee this morning. Good coffee. I uncracked the good coffee to this. So the small boats are definitely just like AAA trucks, and then you got your destroyers and your cruisers, which are a bit more like tank gameplay, I'd say, but it's a much longer range. It's like it's a bit like top tier tanks, where you're basically shooting at dots from a long distance. So enough chatting. Let us get into a game. Hopefully, we'll go realistic. Actually, no. Let's do an arcade first of all. Let's do arcade. Haven't done arcade for a while. Arcade's probably the most fun mode in what do we call it? War Thunder ships. It's fast paced. It's interesting. It's fun. The ships move really, really quickly. But it's you're gonna die a lot, basically. Just get ready to die an awful lot. Hopefully we get a game. I'm probably not going to do totally naval stuff today. I might do some ground forces and some air forces as well, depending on how boring this gets. And, you know, with one of my videos, it's no doubt going to get incredibly boring, so get ready for that. So we are getting ready. And I do apologise about my incredibly loud keyboard as well. I'll try and keep it as quiet as possible. Yeah, look, I suck. We all know this. I'm terrible. So, you know, I'm going to get a spanking no matter what. It's just, you know, I'm not a good player. If I was a good player, I'd have, you know, a couple of million subscribers. Also, if I was an entertaining player and had charisma and it was fun. Just a comment I got this morning on a video. I just had to make me laugh. This guy was just like, "No wonder you have so few subs. You're so boring." And it was just like, "Oh, thanks, dude. I'm so happy with that. Cheers." But it was like an old naval. It was like 1.77. What are we at the moment? Yeah, 1.79. So it was 1.77 naval beta test way back. No, this is true. It does take a while to gather up the resources and make yourself that master of videos. You know, and I feel like I've been getting better. Definitely, the first videos are a bit cringy to watch. It's a bit weird watching some of my earlier stuff, but I think I'm getting a little bit more entertaining. See, my trouble is I just want to talk about history too much. I'm just like, oh, history, yes, boring history. Let's talk about tiny things like gears and things like that. I love mechanical stuff, and you know, it's just. Thank you. Yeah, it's just I enjoy the mechanical things, and I enjoy the really boring stuff that people find boring generally. I find interesting. It's like bombers. I love bombers, you know. And people are like, "How can you love bombers? They're boring." But it's engaging gameplay for me. It's interesting. Apparently, we have a lot of people queuing, and it's just nobody's actually battling. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of proud of my history of videos. I think they tend to come out well. You know, having that little mix of the gameplay with the history aspects and stuff. I'm feeling they're kind of okay, not too boring. And people tend to find them interesting and find bits interesting in that, which is good. I'm kind of glad about that because, you know, it's my goal to make it interesting. You know, it's what I want to do. It's kind of the main part of my videos is to be interesting, you know. Oh, hooray, we've got a game. But it's kind of hard trying to focus like what to say and what not to say sometimes, because sometimes, you know, I will find something really interesting because, you know, this guy invented a sprocket that made this engine work, you know, 2% more efficiently, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know, 2% efficiency increase, that's so cool, you know. And it's just it's a ridiculous tiny thing that really doesn't matter, and nobody's really going to find it interesting unless they're stupid like me. Anyway, we've got a game in arcade. Let's head up to this one. Let's spawn in. So we have a few reserves of the little German boat. Now, people have got the nasty unlocked already. Oh dear, this is gonna be a paddling for me. I am not gonna do well. Hopefully we're not getting too much lag on the stream. So, last night when I was doing some of the initial testing, basically the German reserve boat is the worst boat in the game so far. It's pretty awful. Yeah, it's pretty choppy out here today. The problem with this boat is basically it's only got one gun and it overheats really quickly. And like, as you can see, like in this weather we're actually drowning somewhat. Okay, so that, oh god, this is not good. Yes, boat. Keep me protected. Protect me. Protect your younger brother. Nearly capsized it there. That would have been good. Yes, the problem with this boat is because it's only got one little tiny gun on it. It's got a 15mm cannon. Well, they're all enclosed, you know. Luckily, all the crew is sat inside of this boat. None of them are outside. So this is why we have a ball turret on top, so the crew doesn't fall out. Now, watch out for torpedoes, because no doubt there's going to be torpedoes somewhere. blind fire a little bit. Haha! Okay, that was skill there. I'm just going to claim that as skill. I'm just immensely skilled at playing boats. It was nothing to do with luck. That was pure skill there of killing that guy. Let's start smoking. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be on board this boat at the moment. Although I have been in rougher seas than this. I used to... my dad was a fisherman. And it meant that basically we went out in storms like this to get the pots in sometimes. So I've been in pretty rough conditions like this before. And the gun is loading. Where is even our gun aiming at the moment? We can't even get aim on this guy because we're sinking apparently. I don't know how we're sinking. We've not even been hit yet. How are we sinking? What's happening? Like, where are we sinking from? Buoyancy is an issue apparently. But more of an issue is actually trying to get shots on this guy. I think they need to tone down the waves a little bit because at the moment we're a little bit gun is jammed. Here comes this 50 cows. Our gun would unjam itself, we would be okay probably. Fire now. And again our gun is jammed. And we are dead. Whew, okay. Well, we managed to get a kill at least. So that's something. Alright, let's take out a plane quickly. So yeah, I'm really not sure how we got that first kill, but we got a kill, so that's something. Yeah, they really need to tone down the waves, though. That it's too much for these small boats. It's almost impossible to aim, really, which is not a good thing. So we will take out the magnificent German dive bomber here. The 123 is one of my favourite planes in the game. Like, this thing is beautiful. It just has ridiculous turn time and roll rate, and just, oh, it's just beautiful little plane. It's fantastic. You'll generally win every single turn fight with it. And because of its 1.5 wing design, it's really quite agile as well. It gives it that really good manoeuvrability. It's also got very strong wings. Even though it's a single strut brace, it's a very strong brace. So it gives this plane some really good manoeuvrability, as well as having some really, really good sort of strength as well. Absolutely, and it looks awesome. It's just so cool. I love the headrest. It almost looks like a racing car to me. It looks like a Formula 1 car. So we've got Ju-87. We've got lots of motor torpedo boats. We might be able to get some bombs off. This guy's turning away from us. Okay, that's alright. Forced him into a crash. That's what we want to do. We can strafe this guy. And if we can get our guns on target. No idea where our bomb went then. honestly, guns from planes are just so ridiculous. Again, bombs are just failing miserably. Honestly, you worry more about strafing from a plane than actually the bombs and stuff, because the guns on them just cause so much damage to your crew, and because you've got no sort of armor or anything like that, it just rips through the boat pretty instantly. Alright, let's head back out in the LS class boat.
Threat in the air.
Let's see if we can actually make it through these waves. Guy already spawn camping us. Good, we got a nice hit on his gunner there. Spawn camping is a real issue as well in this game at the moment. In naval forces, spawn camping is probably the most common cause of issue. And we failed. Well, at least we got a couple of kills in the end. Yeah, it's just so frantic. It's not like tanks where you can actually hide behind a corner and just think about something for a few seconds. You just end up frantically flying around and just waving your arms about and being like, "Oh, okay, let's see what happens." At least we got the fire prevention unlocked on this thing now. So rank does not matter, ship rescuer and final blow, so that's something. So we didn't get reimbursed for our efforts last night, apparently. That's fun. We'll probably go for primary armament and unlock that as well as the artillery support on this thing. Let's go to realistic battle and see how that goes. So I'm going to be streaming on Wednesdays now. Well, Wednesdays for me, which is possibly Thursdays for America. I'm going to be doing it some slightly different times depending on my work schedule. If I'm off from work, I'll be streaming in the day, like this. If I'm working, I'll be streaming at night, which will generally be sort of early morning, I think, for America, and late afternoon for Britain. So I think it's just early morning for England and Europe at the moment. So I just pick the worst possible time, basically. I'm just making a time that's useful for me. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's tricky working out American time. It's weird, because we're basically almost a day ahead sometimes. So no, well, it'll be Tuesday sometimes for you guys, I think. If I do it early, then it'll be Tuesday rather than Wednesday. It's really hard to work out that kind of stuff, you know. Why can't the world just have the same days? So you're having a late night tonight. See, this is the trouble with living in Australia, is we have to play at sort of like 1 AM to get sort of peak time for some countries, and it's just, you know, all start at like 6 AM to get peak time for other countries. So it's like, do I really want to do peak time? Nice. Summer breaks are always useful. Are you studying at the moment? Alright, and we have a game. So let us get started. So realistic battle, the ship is much more it's a little bit more sluggish, and you can feel the difference really. One thing that I am really critical of is the map size in this mode. Okay, so we've got a German flak barge. People have been busy unlocking their boats, haven't they? Right, so as you can see, the boat is nowhere near as fast in realistic battle, so it's not flying around as much when the sea's a little bit more choppy. I think arcade, it needs basically a flat surface to work. Okay, we've got some LS boats over there in the distance. I'm actually going to start coming around this this island to keep us a little bit protected. Quite a few boats out there in the distance. That guy's dead. So smoke screens are really vital in this sort of cool, set him on fire, that's good. Hopefully get the kill here. Okay, got an assist for him. Guy right to our side here. And we are dead from an LS class. And that's naval combat, guys. Yeah, the barge is really cool. I love them. I love concrete ships. They're so interesting. You know, it's such a weird option. You know, why would you build a ship out of concrete? But it worked. It was cheap, easy to make. You could manufacture, you know, thousands of the things really quickly and cheaply. Also, concrete is pretty durable on the ocean because you can do it compartmentalized. Basically, compartment off all the sections between the barge, so it works incredibly well. Managed to take out one of the compartments there of that guy. That's a big boat over there with lots of guns. Which scares me a little bit. And we've got a Schnell boat as well, which is probably a pretty deadly target as well. Hopefully we can get a critical on its torpedo tubes, which would be really handy. On fire, that's good. Hopefully that guy doesn't have FPE. Okay, we'll put out that fire. And we will drop some torpedoes out. That guy's dead. And the S-boat completely takes us apart with its guns, because it has more guns than us, basically. Yeah, I actually got pretty close there. That was not too bad. We're getting sort of one kill a boat so far, which I'm not sure is worth it. But yeah, balance on these boats is nigh on impossible. Okay, we're going to die very quickly here. We've got a very big nasty boat to the side of us here. We can kill the gunner on board there. We can take out that main gunner. Should hopefully get the torpedo hit on this guy. There we go, beautiful. Awesome, we got a torpedo kill. Yeah, really, there's not much you can do in the little S-boat to help your team because it's so weak. It only has a 7 or 8 man crew. Bombs coming in somewhere. There's planes up, no doubt. And really, you can't really use it for anti-aircraft purposes because it's just... You might get a hit, but the gun's too unstable to really hit a plane. So you just have to really go for those ocean targets because you're not going to do much else. and as you can see there, plane just strafing us just really causes so much damage. We can't really get our guns down low enough to do much. I don't know if my gun's broken or not. It's just not seeming to go down any further. But even if you get a hit on these things, you're not going to do a huge amount of damage. Gun, come down. Come down, gun. Okay, we're going to die here. But we did launch our torpedo, and we managed to get him again. 2 torpedo kills. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm going to take that as a win. And we won the game at the end as well. So, nice. Nice work. That wasn't a bad little session. As you can see, though, that the LS boat is just so useless. It's hilariously bad. Don't think I got credit for that last kill either, which is frustrating. So, got the final blow. Okay, we did get credit. So that's something. Now, one of the things that you can also upgrade in Naval is your torpedo mode. You can make your torpedoes have longer distance, but it reduces speed. I'd honestly recommend not unlocking that, or not using it, at least, because it's not worth having that speed, in all honesty. It's not worth losing that speed. It's better to have faster speed with a shorter range, because you're generally not going to be torpedoing things from, 400 meters. From 4,000 meters. You're going to be torpedoing them at like knife fighting distance in this mode. So you've really got to go for the sort of speed of the torpedo over the distance of it. Let's see how we're going with our research at the moment. Also, we'll train up our crew a little bit. So I talked about this last night a little bit with the crew training. So you've got some different ways of training your crew. Of course, you can enemy torpedo observation is useful. Gunners, you've got your distance fuse set for your radio guided fuse shells. Main gun reload speed, which is probably quite useful in all honesty. The damage control party is something I think is useful, especially the survive leadership, which means that you can use all 3 of them at the same time more effectively. So it sort of speeds up everything. And the engine room, I think we'll put 1 into 5 prevention. So we've got less chance of fires. Not really much training in there. So let's head out for another game. I was going to hit air realistic then, that probably wouldn't have worked. Let's see if we can unlock a boat. Apparently we're meant to be getting 3 times experience at the moment, which is kind of scary. They said in a post about their fix of the issue that we were getting triple time experience as compensation for what happened yesterday, which was basically yesterday, if you didn't know. The experience you were getting from every game was about 20 research points. So to unlock a main ship, it was going to take you like a couple of days of constant grinding. And it's still not much better now, actually, but at least you can see the bar moving. But I still don't think that's triple experience. I don't think we're getting triple, well, experience, research points for the next ship up. So that is quite interesting. Yeah, actually, I might as well do American. Might as well hop to America. Yes, we'll leave that stream. So we'll hop to the American one. I'll show you all the Higgins 81, and this is a much better, much better boat. It's got 250 calibers on board, so basically, front on you can actually kill things. But of course your crew is exposed, so your 2 gunners stick out here so they can get taken out pretty easily. You also have all your ammunition back here, so you've got a chance of that cooking off as well. I actually got set on fire and had my ammo cook off and kill me before. Downstairs you've got your sort of radio room and everything like that. So it's a much bigger ship. You've got a lot more crew members. I think 10 more crew members than the German boat. And of course you still have torpedoes on board. So let's head out. Why do I keep doing that? Let's head out with the good old US of A's ship. And the American research tree is not too bad, actually. It's you've got a lot of PT boats in there. There are a lot of Elcos to unlock if you want to go down that line. There is a new way, actually, just before we do this. They've changed the research tree, the way it works. So instead of going down to unlock your ships, you now go across. But what that means is you can go down to unlock the next ship, and if you don't really want to play that ship, you can then just skip to the next class. So if you want to, you obviously have to unlock 5 vehicles in the lower tiers before you can unlock tier 2, but tier 3 you only need to unlock 2 ships, which is 2 destroyers. Tier 2 you need to unlock 2 ships, which is, you know, you could unlock we have to unlock the Elco and the Higgins, but you can sort of go down the paths and actually unlock boats you want, rather than having to go down a line to unlock the top ones, like in tanks, for instance, where you have to unlock the Abrams, for instance, you have to unlock all of the Shermans and T-34s and T-29. You know, you have to go all that way to get it. So this way, I think it makes a lot more sense. I hope they actually change it for the normal tech tree, for actual tanks and stuff. It would make it a lot easier. It would be nice to see that come in to that research tree, just so we don't have to go through so much of a grind, but we can still unlock things if we want to. For instance, with the PT boats, this is your sort of top sub chaser, for instance, and then your sort of top PT boats are the more modern ones. So they're just so much better than these early war ones. So you have incentive to unlock them still. Alright, let's get back to going into a game. Hopefully we get one nice and quickly. There we go. I was hoping we would get better research points, in all honesty, because it is really slow. It's feeling really, really craptastic. I mean, you know, with tanks, a couple of realistic battles and you'll unlock a new tank, and same with planes. You know, like I can unlock a plane with 1 game in low tiers, you know, if it goes well. Of course, you start off without depth charges as well. They're an unlockable consumable, which I guess is okay. Alright, let's do the mad thing and just head for A. We're going to get absolutely shreked by many, many guns in a minute. But as I said, we've got the 250 cals. Now, the unfortunate thing is the 50 cals don't swing too far to the opposite direction. So you can fire straight, or you can fire 1 left and 1 right. Yeah, exactly. I sort of... The depth charges are used as sort of like a specialty item that you sort of drive by people and then drop a depth charge on them. So it's not the thing of, like, you know, you don't use them for actual depth. Okay, we're going to start smoking around here. Spin around. There we go, we've got some fire coming in. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have FPE. There are no mines yet either. I kind of thought they would have mines. It would make sense to have like a mine system. And we are finally dead from fire. The fact you don't have FPE at the start kind of makes no sense either. It's sort of just ridiculous.
Our victory is near.
You know, it's kind of just... they should really put fire prevention on at the start, because fire is the thing that really just wrecks you this early game sort of thing. It's just... everybody uses armor-piercing incendiary shells. And usually get fires pretty much instantly. Steal that kill from you. As you can see, we're getting more kills. Now this is going to kill us straight away. This is the next tier up boat, the nasty basically. And as you can see, we're basically hitting it but doing nothing towards it. We'll launch our torpedoes, because we're going to die here any minute. You never know, we might just get something with a torpedo hit. We'll set this guy on fire at least, but yeah, no luck really. Yeah, there is actually talk of heavy cruisers. They've said that there is a possibility that heavier ships will come. And yeah, I think mines really should be used. The depth charges act a little bit like a mine. But they're all in our spawn now, so that's fun. And basically this mode is who can spawn camp first, really. It's very much spawn camping. Is the... let's go tracer. Armored targets. It's very much spawn camp city, which is really annoying because you'd think that they would actually do something to actively take out spawn camping, but no, spawn camping is very much an issue in this mode. And as you can see, like, I spawned in and was killed instantly because there was about 5,000 machine guns hitting me. And look at the kill feed now. You can see that we're gonna probably lose pretty quickly. I have 4 kills there, 3 assists. I'm currently leading the scores for kills and stuff, just simply by just holding down my fire button in the general direction of the vehicle. There was no skilled shots in that game. Like, it was just all pretty terrible, just holding down my fire button. But you can sort of see straight away how much better the American boat is over the German boat. There is a real discrepancy in balance, which is really frustrating. If the American boat just had 1 machine gun, it would make sense. But when you've got 2 machine guns, it's just annihilation. Yeah, so it really does annihilate them pretty quickly. I'm trying to get some altitude here and go for a dive bomb on somebody. I honestly don't think they're going to be adding anything like battleships, though. I think battleships are going to be too big for the game. I could be wrong. I kind of would love to see a battleship. Alright, I see a flak barge there shooting at the TBD. What else do we see? We see 2 ships there. We see a lot of boats and a plane. Nothing around A. Kind of want to go for the flak barge. It's probably a bad idea, but I do want to go for it. Okay, there's a lot of boats in C at the moment. So... that flak barge is dangerous, but hopefully he's preoccupied. We should get a bomb off here. How did that not kill it? How? That was a £1,000 bomb, by the way, just so you all know. But it's okay, we'll use our 50 cals on it. No idea why 2 planes were flying so low there. But we'll take that kill. Yeah, open ocean would be useful, I think. It would be a good option. But I think you'd need a really big map for it. Stop wepping, actually. Okay, the guy is dead now. We've got a lot of tiny boats around here. Set that guy on fire, that's good. I'm gonna get out of here. Sail. No idea. Just do a kamikaze run there. Yep, damn straight. The engine was failing. Glory of America. But it's just, it really is unbalanced at the moment. They're just... Yeah, like I've said, you know, they had this really cool, interesting mode where there was, you were basically escorting supply ships, and that was really interesting gameplay. I think it was probably around about 1.7 or 1.7 something or other. It was one of the earlier patches, like probably about a year ago in testing. It's back in the video library somewhere. You'll probably be able to find it. So I've done testing for these for way too long now. I've been in every single test, and it's whatever I purchased. There we go. And it really, you know, you see some changes, but then you see things and you just go, really, you've just gone back to this? And they seem to sort of not listen to us for the testing purposes, which is really, really frustrating. I guess we'll go depth charges. Might as well unlock them. Which is, you know, it's a really frustrating thing because you're just banging your head against a brick wall sometimes. And the main issue has been small maps and really crap gameplay, which is basically what we're having at the moment, of that just driving around shooting everything. There's no skill involved. And that's the problem with PT boats. I think if it was like a riverway or something, if it was down rivers and, you know, really lots of places to hide and sort of things like that, it could work for these PT boats. Or in an open ocean where you can barely spot them and they can sneak up on big ships, it would work. But the big ship gameplay is much more interesting. And speaking of big ship gameplay, let's take out the Carlgalster. Fantastic name for a ship, by the way. Carl is a fantastic name. We all know this. And what we might do is just do a wee bit of accelerated skill training. So what we'll do is we'll pop up the accuracy of these two a little bit. Damage control, I want that to be up a little bit higher. Fire prevention we want to be quite high. Ship control is not an overly needed thing. We've got some torpedo observation on there and radio communication. And we'll go for 1 leadership. There we go. It's like, I think maybe escorting an aircraft carrier or something would be really cool as well. You know, there would be some really cool sort of like gameplay in trying to escort an aircraft carrier and actually have players trying to take off and land on the carrier to keep it safe. You know, you could have things like that. I don't know why they haven't brought carriers into the game. Like, not as a player choice, but as a a vehicle in the back of your base, you know, and maybe having a few NPC ships around your spawn point to protect it or something, because the spawns are just so easy to get into in spawn camp. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen, you know. Oh my god, why haven't you done the Royal Navy? Oh my god, the Royal Navy is the best navy. Like, seriously? Like, how come there's no Royal Navy footage? You're just doing these German American ships. You're just German American bias, bro. That's basically what will happen. Do I have it unlocked on the 111? Yes, I do. Okay, which one are you on? There we go. We'll just sneak that onto the team, I think. And what are we? 4.3. I think the duck will actually be really useful in this gameplay. Yeah, it's a guarantee. Like, it's funny. Facebook post today. Like, I sort of woke up and looked at my Facebook feed, as the normal thing is for me, and there were people complaining because they're just like, oh my god, why have you just done the Germans and the Americans who have no history in naval warfare? And it's like, do you war? Do you actually understand? It's unbelievable. Like, sometimes you just think, how, you know, like, America and Germany have some of the richest naval history there is. Like, yeah, okay, America didn't do much in the European theatre. America didn't really face German ships, but the Pacific campaign, guys, like, there was a lot of naval action in the Pacific War, in the First World War as well. You know, like, Germany, Jutland, you know, there was a small battle called the Battle of Jutland, you know, and you know, like, Germany had a bit of naval history there. It just, you know, especially with these kind of sort of PT boats and stuff like that. Although, yes, okay, England had the MBTs, the motor torpedo, MTBs, which were the motor torpedo boats, and they were really prolific around, especially around coastal waters and between the Channel. My granddad served on a county class cruiser, and then he stepped down and started on a we didn't need saving, we had it all under control, you just helped us. There was no saving involved, you came over and just stole the glory. Damn glory hogs, coming in at the last minute and just being like, yeehaw, let's take this country for our own, you know, that's it. Bloody Americans. But my granddad served on a destroyer, a small destroyer, I'm trying to think of it, I can't remember the actual designation, but basically just a small coastal destroyer for hunting down U-boats. And he said constantly the S-boats would just come in and just sail in and just strafe them and then bugger off out, and it was just such a nuisance, but it was a constant nuisance. It was just every day there was just destroyer strafing. Okay, let us get turning in a little bit, and we're going to start getting some shots out soon. So we've got a few coal wells. Okay, a ship at long range there. Fire off a salvo just in case. Look, without America, Britain would have suffered. They needed the supplies, basically. That was the big difference maker in the war, was us getting the American supplies. And also Russia as well, with the Lend-Lease program. Without that, Russia would have really suffered. Of course, Britain also was involved in that, with things like Matildas and all of that jazz, but without the sort of alliance between every nation, you know, it would have been a different war. You know, but then you have to remember Germany had allies as well, and you know, it's kind of tricky sort of saying, well, you know, this nation won the war, because it was really a group effort. Without all involved, there wouldn't really have been anything. You know, without the Polish, for instance, the Battle of Britain could have been lost. You know, the Polish Air Force and flyers really did a huge benefit and boon to the British and the Royal Air Force. And you can see our gunners are just shooting at God knows what at the moment. We still have that problem with AI gunners. Just being complete numpties. Is there a plane up, guys? What are you shooting at? What are you shooting at? Let me know. Just try not to run out of ammunition, okay? No, D-Day wouldn't have happened as easily. You know, the thing that you have to remember, though, is with D-Day, it was a big effort. You know, every nation was involved. You know, without the Indians, it wouldn't have been easy. Without the Canadian armed forces, it would have probably been a loss. You know, there are so many people involved in it. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable as well. You know, without a single magician, D-Day could have been lost, because the magician basically built up the fake army on Dover, so the Germans thought we would be invading from Dover to Calais. You know, it's just, there's so many things like that that just, you know, it could have been a complete disaster if one of those little cogs wasn't there. We've got an assist from something, I don't know what. I've not really seen anything. Got a ship over there. I think we're going to stumble across a destroyer any minute now. There we go, there's one. Now, if we can get some nice shots in here, we might be able to get some good hits. A little bit far at the moment. Try for the smokestack's gone. Be a little bit shorter because we want to go sort of through the bottom of the ship. If we can get those, he's protected there. We want to just basically get a nice shot just looping through the sort of lower sections of that ship. Now, one of the things, we've got one dead center as well, actually. And we've taken the torpedo because we've got a torpedo boat right there. But it fired its torpedo way too soon. We're taking a big old hammering right now. Luckily, the German ship is well protected. But we will be going down any minute. Now, if we can get that shot just a little bit lower, we should take his ammunition out. The American ship is really easy to take out. That is the German variant, though. And we are down. So we have got to back up, but quack, quack. Let's take out a duck. I'm going to take 8 chaps. Let's see how well the duck does in naval combat. Quackity quack. Now we're going to get low here and we're going to try and sneak behind the islands. Because hopefully the lower we are, the less chance we have of those AAA guns finding us. So we've got a destroyer out there. Okay. I do kind of think, though, that you should have... Hello, how are you going? AAA has started firing on us. Ooh, we're going to run away from this. Run away, run away, run away. Okay, time delayed fuses are not hitting us. Yeah, well, I'm hoping they're going to think it's just a normal duck floating around in the sea and not attack us. You know, we're well disguised. Quack, quack. You know, there we go. That's what we want. If we can hit its ammo, we might be okay. Of course, we are lucky because we are a duck, so therefore we are basically invincible. Although we did take a big hit there. And not being as invincible as we should be. Come on, duck, you can do it. You can do it, duck. You can do it. You can do it. You can fly. You can fly. You'll be fine. Look, you don't need that wing. You're okay. You don't need a tail. You're okay. You're still good. Okay, well, duck didn't go too well there. We landed softly, though. We're fine. We're safe. We're okay still. One of the big issues is, like, with the AAA is... I think they need to actually make it so you see somebody... If you click on the target, then you can shoot at it. Because at the moment, the AI AAA is just impossible to get through. Like, so for instance, my guns will just start firing up instantly if they see a ship. Or, sorry, see a plane. You know. As you can see, like, AAA is already firing and the guns are firing, and I don't even see a target. They just instantly know where everything is. So you can see we've just got AAA barrage going off already, and it's just ludicrous. You know, so I think actually having to almost target a ship... Jesus Christ, this guy's got us in range already. Like, he knows where we are. And again, this is just the thing of the spawn camping. Like, these guys are just sat there, basically in our spawn, able to just destroy us because they've got us in target range. Now we are penetrating him, and we should start doing some really good damage in a minute. Just keep our front guns on target. I was hoping we'd get an ammunition shot there. He's using HE on us, which is good news. Engine room's down. You know, hopefully he's not going to be able to put out that fire too quickly. Okay. Keep a lookout now. Now we have got some damage through the front, as you can see here. Our bow is completely blacked out, but we're okay. We're still okay. Luckily, the German destroyer has got... Oh, sorry, not the German destroyer. I'm thinking of the cruisers at the moment. Interestingly, the German cruiser is really well armoured, whereas the destroyer isn't, of course. The destroyer has no armour on it because it's a destroyer. Now, I'm going to go, hoping for an ammunition shot here on this guy, but I don't think we're going to get it. Transmission's down, so he's dead in the water. So we'll keep shooting on this guy. Should technically be dead now, actually. Blown out basically all his compartments. So Yeah, the Emden is really well armoured. I was looking at the armour models in... I think something else is shooting at us. Okay. So, we managed to black out pretty much all of that guy's ship and not kill him. And, you know, God, I don't know. I don't know. This game is really, really weird. It's very... As I said, like, it really doesn't reward skill that much. It's just more who can do what to who. We're not going to look good here because we're in a very, very tiny... I think that guy's dead. That guy looks very dead. I'm going to try and get into A and see if we can camp it and get the cap. Yeah, it doesn't feel... As I say, it's not very rewarding to play. It just feels... Basically, who can hold down the fire button the longest wins. And if you get the target in range, and all the range finding's done automatically for you, there's no, like, you can manually range find it, but it's pretty much all automatic. And I'm waiting to get strafed by that plane. Go, managed to take that one out pretty easily. Another S-boat there, and the S-boat killed us with one hit. Okay. Yeah, such fun. So that's game for me. That's my ship dead. And I think we're at a loss now because we really don't have anything left to use. Now this guy's coming in for a strafing run.
We no longer have advantage.
He's got tiny Tims on board, but you can see already the AAA is just absolutely everywhere. It does really feel like an unfair advantage having the AI AAA and secondary gunners on board, because they just really are unbelievably accurate and unbelievably quick at finding a target. You know, they get the target pretty much instantly, and it just feels like you've got no choice, and no chance even. They may not be the most accurate thing, but when there's a group of destroyers or cruisers or something like that, you really can't do anything to take them down. So it's sort of like in the motor torpedo boat games, especially when it was first, sort of the first couple of hours of it, where everybody just had the stock boats. Planes were a nightmare and taking out everybody, and then now it's almost like planes can't do much unless they're against motor torpedo boats. So it really does feel quite unbalanced. So that is the destroyer gameplay. As you can see, it's a bundle of laughs. It's not bad, in all honesty. It is interesting. Come on, a million lions. Well, we got some backups. Only we got the backups for planes and tanks that we're not using. Okay, that's fair enough. A new profile picture. $500 players defeated, apparently. Okay. So we'll wait for that to come in. But again, it's not going to be a huge amount of XP gained, and it's going to be a long grind. As I said, they did say that there was going to be a bonus for fleet players, you know, to make our grind a little bit less painful, because we are meant to be testing this. You know, this is meant to be a test session, not a free unlock. You know, it's testing, basically, and hopefully they're going to listen to the feedback. But what I was talking about before was just looking at the Emden and the Trenton. So if we look at the Trenton, which is a trying to think now. I can't remember the class of the ship. I keep thinking Iowa, but I know that's a battleship. So my brain is just going dead at the moment. Yeah, I'm not trying to think. Anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the proper thing. So, Omaha, thank you so much. That's made my life so much better. Yeah, I kept having Iowa, and it was just like, I know that's wrong. Brain, what are you doing? Yeah, Omaha. So, the Omaha, you know, you got the 150mm guns. You got relatively decent turrets on it. It's a light cruiser, of course. But if you look at the armor profile of it, the Citadel is pretty much just covering... Basically, the armor is just protecting the engines, and that's it. So there's not really much other protection there. So if you look at the... you know, the steering gear is protected as well a little bit. But the big thing that's not protected is the ammunition. So if you get a shot in just right, now the ammunition is below the waterline, but if you get a shot into this section here and get the ammunition, you're going to set this thing up like a bonfire. It's going to go up in flames pretty quickly. Whereas with the Emden, the armor on the Emden is pretty much all around the belt, and it's less armor. It's only 50mm of armor, but that is enough to give it some protection. So if you're sort of coming in at a slight side angle, you're going to get a little bit more protection to it. And if we look again at the ammunition storage, you know, the ammunition storage is just below the waterline, and it has some armor protection. So I think the Emden's going to be the better boat out of the two. Also, the Emden has just a bit more firepower. It's just... I've got a feeling the Emden is going to be better than the Trenton. Yes, Trenton, that's it. Just simply because of that armor layout. I think that the Trenton is going to get a bit of a pasting for it. Well, let's hop out of naval stuff for a few minutes, and let's try a game in air battles. To the air we shall go. Something a little bit different, and I will call this my last game, I think. Thank you all for watching. Not that I'm stopping right now, but we'll be stopping in a few minutes. Yeah, the naval stuff is going to be a bit of a headache. Like, the grind is just way too hard. I really don't know if I can be bothered to grind that much. Yeah, I think I've played about 10-15 games so far, and it's been just, you know, I've barely unlocked a ship. So it's like you want me to test this, yet you've made the grind impossibly hard. And in all honesty, the grind is too much even for players. You know, when it's released, if the grind is that bad, people are going to be put off by it, because when you're playing that little German the LS, it's so frustrating because you just get absolutely annihilated by the Americans, and it's only going to get worse for some nations. Japan is going to be really, really bad, because I think their one has a 7.7mm gun on it, and that's it. Their reserve is going to have one single 7.7mm machine gun on it, you know, and that is going to be really, really, really not fun to grind through for hours and hours. You know, it's going to take you at least probably about 2 or 3 hours of grinding to get to the next ship, and if you've got a really bad boat, it's going to be really painful, because you're just going to struggle so much. Yeah, the Japanese boat is also very small. I think it only has a crew of 5 as well, so one 50 caliber strafe will take out the whole crew. It's just going to be... I'm not looking forward to the Japanese reserve boat. I'm trying to think of the others that are out there at the moment. Russia isn't too bad, but the Russian reserve boat, I think, has got a heavy machine gun on it, at least, but it is still a single machine gun. I think it's in a bull turret again, if I remember correctly. The Italian one, no doubt, will suck. Just because for some reason the Italians really, really don't get good stuff. And we haven't had any news of the French Navy yet. The British, I don't actually know what they're going to get as a reserve boat, because all of their ships have all the motor torpedo boats have generally been pretty large and bulky. Hello, Farad. How are you going? Yeah, absolutely. I think Tenryu might be it, but it's hard to say. Um, it would be nice if they would announce the Japanese one so the Japanese players had something to actually look forward to. Because Japanese players never have anything to look forward to because Gaijin hate Japan. Um, although we did get the Type 90. I am good, thank you very much. Yes. Been doing some of the naval stuff. If you just joined, just missed the Navy gameplay. But there is a couple of videos up already on it. And basically Navy is very annoying to play. It's not the best thing to play at the moment. It's quite hard, especially with reserve boats, and this is what we were just talking about, is reserve ships, especially with Japan, if they get... The current one that I can think of they're getting, and I saw in... sorry, I was trying to find a post on Facebook from Gaijin. The one that we had in testing was basically just a tiny boat with a 7.7mm on board, which is just going to be the worst boat in the world. So I'm really not looking forward to the grind in Japan. Also, the grind is just really horrible. Yeah, the French are going to have probably the best destroyers. Italy's going to be next, I think. The Italian destroyers should be good. But that's if they use the sorry, as you can see, my brain's starting to fade now. The thingy destroyers, basically the cruiser hunter destroyers, the counter trooper destroyers. If France gets those, they're going to be absolutely deadly. Basically a destroyer with a cruiser's gun. It's going to be a really deadly little ship. French cruisers, again, were very good. They're very fast, they're very agile. Italy had some really good ships in the war, and a lot of them actually ended up in Russia, I think, at the end of it, when they split the spoils of war. I think Italy and France are very much underdogs at the moment. They're sort of the naval tech trees that people are going to think less of, because everybody's going to be going for, the British, the American, and the German tech tree, because they're going to think the Navy in there is the best. I think probably the worst naval branch is going to be the Russians, oddly enough. Russian ships were not great. A lot of their cruisers and destroyers in the Second World War were sort of relics from the First World War. They did have a few more modern things, but they had a lot of old ships basically in their fleet, and that's going to be interesting to see how they apply it in game. Are they going to get yeah, exactly, like Le Glacier and the Emile Bertin is just a beautiful ships. They're just, they're gorgeous. If we get battleships, then France is going to be absolutely nuts. Yeah, I mean, getting a Dunkirk will be very much fun. I kind of would like to see battleships in the game, but I know that with the current gameplay, they wouldn't work because the maps are too small. They need to make giant maps. They won't add aircraft carriers as a player boat. They might add aircraft carriers as an escort vessel. So, like, you've got to do an escort mission. Because the thing is, aircraft carriers are not going to be fun to play. There's no point playing an aircraft carrier, because all you're going to be doing is trying to hide your ship and help people land and take off on you. So there's no point in having a playable aircraft carrier in the game. In World of Warships it works because you control the planes, but in War Thunder you don't control... Yeah, the Yamato would be a fantastic ship to have. It would be just crazy. Like, taking that into mixed battles and firing a salvo onto the tanks would be really, really fun. I've got to admit, you know, I'm looking forward to making a custom battle at some time and having some, you know, 300 to 400 millimeter guns shooting at some tanks, getting some revenge on T-34s. But no doubt, you will hit a T-34 with the barrage from the Yamato, and all you'll do is damage its optics. You know, it's going to happen. You know, like, the shell will be bigger than the tank, yet all it will do is just like, bing, and just damage the optic ports. That's it. Nothing else. But yeah, I think combined battles will be pretty hilarious. The thing is, though, like, taking out the Sturmpanzer, you're actually going to be able to take out the destroyers, which is really, really funny. I was playing around with it in a custom user mission thing that has the ships involved. And when you take out a Sturmpanzer or something with a 150mm plus howitzer, if you actually hit one of those ships, you just completely rip a hole the size of, like, the lifeboat in the side. So you actually do have the chance to take them out. Okay, we're basically fighting everybody in this game. So, yeah. So, I've been playing the Kaya 87 quite a lot recently, actually. Been trying to get used to Japanese cannons, which has been fun. I really, really can't get used to them. They're just so slow. The velocity on the cannons is just... It's like shooting snails from a thing that doesn't shoot things very fast. They really just have no velocity to them, and it's just really hard in a dogfight to get these working. I love this plane when I'm intercepting a bomber. You know, taking out a bomber is fine. You know, you just get one of those 30mm hitting a bomber and that's it, game over. But when you're in a dogfight, trying to turn fight with this thing, it doesn't really like turn fighting. A piss-poor analogy, that's what it was. It was a piss-poor analogy. I usually come up with better ones, but right at this moment, the brain wasn't working. And looks like the Doe 335 tried to head on a Narval, which is a stupid idea. I don't know why people try head-on Narvals. Like, seriously, they have, what, like 6 20mm on them? It's ridiculous. They're just crazy. Alright, now we're in the clouds, so no doubt I'm going to get a plane just appear from nowhere without seeing it and rip me apart now. Might actually turn back towards my bases and see if I can intercept a few bombers, because we're getting some decent altitude now. And I don't really want to be out on my own. Yeah. I wouldn't mind the Fuso or the Izakati. Another plane that another ship that I wouldn't mind is the Warspite. I would happily play in the Warspite. The Warspite is nice. I like the Warspite. The Warspite is fun. You know, the Queen Elizabeth class battleships were just gorgeous. But HMS Warspite was just a legendary ship, you know. The only thing I sort of, again, see stopping battleships is just the fact that they have, like, say, spotter planes and things like that for aiming the guns. So it's really hard to work that mechanic into this game. Maybe you have an AI plane go up and... Narval's going to come for me. I'm not actually going to play this game. I'm going to go away from you, Narval, because I do not want to fight you. I'm going to run away. Run away. Time to run away. Pretty sure there's some people down low. Let's run away from them. Okay, there's a tank down here, or as it's more commonly known, an IL-10. Yeah, I love the battleships in World of Warships. It's such fun gameplay, but then you have to remember that World of Warships is sped up so much that you can actually enjoy battleships. If you're if you're playing them in realistic time, battleships are very slow. You know, that is one of the big problems. It's like, you sort of saw how slow the destroyer gameplay was. Kind of wish I hadn't come down here now. There's not much down here at all. Well, there are a lot of parachutes coming down, so I'm imagining somebody's taken out a big bomber. It's almost like it's snowing. You know, they are very slow big ships. You know, they're fast. They're not slow as in, like, you know, they do move fast. You know, like, I think the Iowa was capable of something like 30-something knots. Just ridiculously fast. You know, they're big, fast ships, but they don't turn very easily. You know, the German battleships turn. The German battleships had the ability to turn really well. But most other ships had issues turning. You know, they weren't really designed for their maneuverability. So yeah, the Scharnhorst guys now, like, they're battle cruisers though. You know, Iowa, that's a battleship, but the Scharnhorst guys now are a battle cruiser. And I think battle cruisers will work. So things like the Hood, the guys now, the Scharnhorst, even things like the pocket battleships, like the thingy. Brain, why aren't you working? But some of the pocket battleships, things like that, would work as well, really well in the gameplay. How is this flak seeing me still? I'm in the clouds, goddammit. Grafspee, that's it. Deutschland class. You know, I feel like they would work because they're just insane, and I really hope the Germans get them as a cruiser. Oh, I'm not going to win these fights. I'm going to bug out. All our teams sort of went low, and every one of theirs has just gone high, so I would like to see the Lutzow in the game. I would very much like to see that ship, because that ship is fantastic. The Grafspee, of course, is also another amazing ship. Yeah, amazing history to the Grafspee. But it would be cool to see the Lutzow in the game and have a pocket battleship. You know, I want 290-odd mm guns. Yeah, Lutzow was renamed Deutschland. The third one was, I'm trying to think. I can't remember. Well, the Lutzow, the Deutschland was originally the third one, but it wasn't made. It was being made for the Russians. So the Russians were going to have the Deutschland. Well, they're going to have. I can't remember if they're going to have the Deutschland or the Lutzow. It was basically they made the hull of the ship, but they didn't end up finishing it. So originally the Lutzow was the Lutzow, and then it was renamed to Deutschland once they gave up on that other ship. So the third one in class didn't get made, but the Lutzow and the Grafspee were Deutschland class cruisers. That was the official designation, because the Deutschland was going to be the first one that was going to be made, but it didn't end up getting made, if I remember correctly. We're really at a disadvantage here, because we've not got enough altitude to really do much. Hopefully they're all starting to dive now. So I'm hoping. But yeah, the sort of World War I era battle cruisers would be so much fun, especially the British ones, because it would be great, because you'd shoot them and then all of a sudden you just see this big... Because, you know, let's not store our powder charges correctly. What a dumb decision. Okay, we're going to be able to boom and zoom on this guy. Don't know what it is, but it's something. Hopefully it won't spot us, and hopefully we'll just get on its tail and just annihilate it. E47. It's much more manoeuvrable than us. And we've got the Narvel on R6. Blackout here. Because we don't have a G-suit. All we need is one hit on this guy and he'll be gone down. Oh, how did they not hit? It's got me here. Yeah, we're screwed. We are screwed. This thing turns like an absolute pig. Yeah, didn't quite get the parachute out in time there. One of the things I really hate about that plane is it just does not turn. It's good, but it does not turn. And plus the cannons, I just can't get used to those 30mm cannons. Just they so slow, so slow. Alright guys, well I'm going to call it a day here for the stream. So I will be streaming again next Wednesday, or whatever day is for you guys. Probably a bit later. I'll set a stream time. Now I did set a stream time today, but unfortunately I did not see that it was set to US time, so it was for like some ridiculous time. I don't know what time it was. It was a ridiculous time. Something ridiculous o'clock. But I will be streaming again next Wednesday, so if you want to catch me next Wednesday, I will put up a time and date and thingy like that and go again. Alright, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you all next time. Bye bye.